company cars and fleets. So what should we do if we've got a fleet of vehicles or we've just only got 2 or 3 cars, vans or whatever? What should we be doing there then?
You've got to look at considering what could go wrong and how we prevent it going wrong. We've mentioned the risk assessment, so we're taking it in a step-by-step approach. The one major way of making sure something doesn't go wrong is checking your vehicle's correct, safe for use before you set off. So if you've got somebody that looks after the fleet, then they should book them in and book them out, check tyre pressures, windows, wash fillers. You know, when we sit in a car and drive, first thing we're taught is, you know, mirrors and everything, make sure everything works properly. And we've got to make sure that the guys that are driving do that. You know, if we assume that they're going to drive to a standard of what they were taught on maybe 10 years ago, you know, assuming is the wrong word.
They never do check though,
They
do
don't. And
they
as you
don't,
as a
just jump in
boss,
and go, don't
what
they?
happens is when they run into something, or, you know, they get a flat tyre and then they, you know, catch a cold because they've been outside for 2 hours waiting for the breakdown vehicle, that doesn't come and they don't turn up for work next day. What could have been prevented? You know, do you have a high-vis jacket in the boot so they can put that on while waiting for the, you know, have you got the jack? Can they actually use the jack?
So in a perfect world then, Linda, you've got a business, let's say it's a plumber's, you've got a new van coming from one of your staff. What do you think are the good things to put in that vehicle to really help them to make sure that they're looked after? Yeah.
Just think of the worst scenario. If you've broken down at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night in winter and it's raining, how are we going to keep that person safe? Have they got access to a mobile phone? Nowadays they have. Yeah. Have they got a first aid kit in there? You know, even with eye wash and wet wipes or something, you know, just to dry off afterwards. High-vis jacket, you know,
that's
bit of
going to be a
reflective
must, though, isn't it?
The triangles, a lot of them, new cars are provided with them. But, you know, we've got several car retailers around here that'll just, you know, sell you a little flashing light. Even the glow sticks that the kids take to the parties and things, they're the ones that keep you visible at night.
Fire extinguisher?
Fire extinguisher, you sort of enter into other areas there. Are you training them on how to use that fire extinguisher? Because if you're not, you're giving them a piece of equipment that they're not trained to use.
Yeah.
How often does your car set on fire?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It more like you get your flat.
You're doing a favour giving them the fire extinguisher then.
They're good for a weapon. And, you know, I always say fire extinguishers are better for us girls. If we're sat on reception, we're out doing things, you know, it keeps people away.
We need to think about the driver as well now, don't we? Not just the vehicle and what's in it.
Oh, you're right there. Because I employ you. Could have been 3 years ago. I give you a van. You're more concerned about your van and what we're putting in it and keeping you safe. But how do I know you've still got your licence 3 years down the line?
Yeah, that's a really good point. That.
Would you tell me if you got done for drunk driving? Would I sack you if you did?
Yeah, I know where you're coming from there, yeah.
You know, so I've got to have some form of checking that you've still got your licence. And does my insurance company say you're only allowed drivers at this age upwards with this many licence points on the licence or below?
So how often, though, would you check the licence? Because we don't, you know, it's not on a daily basis, do you? But I mean,
no, I just do it every year. Do it as a policy of when you're renewing your car insurance, get everybody to bring their licences back in. Yeah. Obviously, you know, there's office gossip and things like that, and people, and I hit this post and I've done that, and it could still have been in their own car. Yeah. But why did you hit that post? I've got most of it, all of my points are on my licences when I've been going and get my kids. It's never for work. It's probably driving back from work to go and get the kids because I can't say no and I'm in a rush. And I've got done through speeding, through, you know, trying to get to school in time or pick them up from Cubs or whatever. Yeah. But as an employer, you know that I'm not planning my time right. You know that I'm not leaving work at the right time to do something. So I should have that brought to my attention as, you know, your employee.
What about cover, though, with the A and RAC? Would you think that's a good thing to have?
I do, yeah. I've lived through experience. While I'm quite happy on a daytime, I've got a flat tyre, I can bend over and I can persuade somebody to come and help me with my flat tyre. But not everybody could be as confident or could be as capable of doing something. So how much lost time could you have of somebody on the A1 up to, you know, whatever job that they've got booked in? What are the implications of not getting to the job in the first place? You know, business implications, are we creating further injuries to people from not stemming a gas leak that, you know?
No, I mean, that makes perfect sense, I suppose. If you're going to run a business, you want a good bit of cover there to simplify.
And shop around as well with things like the ARAC. Yeah. And there's a lot of cover out there. We've got a really good deal with ours. You know, we've got a couple of pool cars, quite a few drivers, and it's just limited to the car, so...
Yeah. All right. Got some great advice there. I must stress, though, it is only a dip in our toe in this pond. If you're running big fleets, if you've got specialist vehicles, petrochemical, etc., this probably isn't for you. You're going to need specialist advice, which Linda can give anyway, but this is very generalistic. So take it on board, see the list that we're giving afterwards, take it and enjoy.